Archangel Michael says, I saw your future and I couldn't stop crying. I wasn't allowed to tell you until now. You have 16 seconds left. Open this message immediately. There is something you need to understand right now. These words are not random. They are not just for anyone. They are for you, and they come at a time when your soul needs them most. This is not a coincidence. This is a divine intervention. Archangel Michael, the mighty warrior of heaven, the one who stands before the throne of God, has seen what lies ahead of you, and his heart broke into tears. Not because your future is doomed, not because there is no way out, but because of the weight you have carried, the battles you have fought in silence, and the beauty of what God is about to do next in your life. You are not here by chance. You are here because God ordained this moment to reach into your soul and awaken something you thought had died long ago. If you feel this message pulling you deeply, comment Amen. Let the heavens witness your agreement. I know it sounds strange. Why would an archangel weep over your future? The truth is, Archangel Michael saw not only your pain but also the glory God is preparing for you. He saw the breakthrough coming after the storm, the healing after the suffering, the laughter after the loneliness. He saw a version of you that is completely transformed, refined by fire, stronger than every fear, and filled with the light of God. But he also saw what you had to walk through to get there. And that's why the tears fell. Heaven felt your ache. God was there in every tear you cried alone, in every night you couldn't sleep, in every moment you felt forgotten. The reason Archangel Michael says you have 16 seconds is because time in the spirit is urgent. Not because something bad is coming, but because God wants to move right now. There is a window open, a divine moment, and your spirit was meant to hear this in that exact space. Your destiny is knocking, and your spirit is being stirred to wake up to it. What is about to unfold in your life is something you never expected, something too big for your own imagination, something that will leave you in awe, not because of your strength, but because of the power of God's hand moving for you. Please take a moment and like this video, not for me, but to seal what God is starting inside you right now. Let it be your act of faith. God has always worked through timing, and you are standing at the edge of a holy shift. When Archangel Michael says he wasn't allowed to tell you until now, it's because heaven waits for the appointed time. There are moments when what was hidden becomes revealed. This is that kind of moment. There are things that have been kept from your understanding not because you are unworthy, but because the season wasn't ready. But now it is. Your eyes are about to see what your heart has only dreamed of in secret. Every delayed prayer, every cry for help, every whisper for direction has been collected by heaven and held until this precise moment. Comment 1111 if you believe something divine is opening up in your life right now. There is a sacred reason God allowed Archangel Michael to speak this word over your life. His role is not only to fight for God's people but to announce and protect divine turning points. And what you are walking into is not just a new season, it's a divine reversal. The curses are breaking. The cycles are ending. The lies spoken over you are being silenced. The shame is lifting. What once was your greatest wound will soon be the place of your greatest testimony. You will walk through doors you never knocked on. You will receive answers you didn't know how to ask for. And all of it will point to one truth: God never left your side. He has protected you even when you felt exposed. He has shielded you from things you never knew tried to reach you. He has gone ahead of you, ordering your steps even when you stumbled. The battles that should have crushed you, the loss that should have destroyed you, the failure that should have defined you, it was all used by God as a setup for your comeback. Archangel Michael saw that. He wept because of how hard it's been, but he also wept because of how glorious it will be. There's a light about to shine on your life that no darkness can hide. The people who overlooked you will be the ones who watch God exalt you. The doors that slammed shut in your face were never meant for you anyway. What God is opening is so much better and so perfectly timed. Your future is not something to fear. It is something to embrace, because it has been written by the hands of a loving, holy God who calls you His own. Right now, you may be tired. You may feel like nothing is changing. But heaven sees differently. There are prayers you've forgotten that God has not. There are seeds you've sown in tears that are about to bloom in joy. There is a strength rising in you that you didn't even know you carried. Because God is not finished. Not with your story. Not with your healing. Not with your purpose. In fact, the part that's coming is the most beautiful yet. The enemy tried to convince you it was too late. That you missed it. That the pain won. But God has stepped in. This moment is a sign of His intervention. If you're reading this, it's because something is already shifting in the unseen. And you don't have to figure out how. You just have to believe. Even if it's just with the last bit of strength you have. The tiniest mustard seed of faith can move the mountain that's been in your way. Not by your power. Not by your might. But by the Spirit of the Lord. There is more coming than what you've lost. There is more ahead than what's behind. And the future that Archangel Michael saw is filled with restoration, favor, miracles, and divine appointments. It is drenched in the goodness of God. Even in the parts that are still messy. Even in the pieces that don't make sense yet. God is working through it all. He is using what broke you to build something unshakable inside of you. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not too late, too broken, too far gone. You are chosen. You are loved. You are called for such a time as this. The heavens have been watching over you, not with judgment, but with hope. Because they know what God is about to do through your life will echo His glory. When He looked at your future, He didn't just see days passing by, He saw moments that will carry the fingerprints of God, moments where light finally touches the places you tried to hide, where freedom finally replaces the fear that once gripped your chest so tightly. He cried because of how long you've waited for answers, how long you've walked through shadows wondering if the light would ever return. You are not standing on ordinary ground. This very moment is holy. Not because of anything you've done, but because of what God has decided to do through you. The same hands that formed the stars, the same voice that split the seas, the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead is now hovering over your life, whispering that it's not over. Not only is it not over, it's about to begin in ways you didn't know were possible. And Archangel Michael was sent to make sure you didn't miss it, because what's coming is not just for you, it's going to overflow onto others, it's going to heal generations, it's going to change atmospheres. Comment 222 if you trust that God is already working things out behind the scenes for you. Every time you were counted out, heaven kept counting you in. Every time someone spoke failure over you, God was writing redemption into your story. Even now, as you sit with wounds that still haven't closed, God is using them as the soil for something new. Nothing has been wasted. Not your pain. Not your silence. Not even the broken pieces you tried to sweep away. Heaven saw them all, and Archangel Michael has been watching over the process. He's been fighting for your breakthrough, guarding what belongs to you in the Spirit, protecting your destiny even when you had no strength left to pray. This is more than just encouragement. This is spiritual reality. You've been under pressure because what's inside of you carries weight in the kingdom. That's why the opposition has been so heavy. That's why the silence felt so loud. That's why you've been feeling like giving up right when your blessing is closest. The enemy always tries to suffocate what's about to bloom, but God has placed a hedge around you, and no matter how close the fire got, it could not consume you. The angels assigned to you have not been silent. They've been waiting for this moment, for you to hear the truth, for you to remember that you were never walking alone. God is not distant. He's not pacing the heavens, wondering what to do next. He's already moved. He's already decided. He's already prepared the table in the presence of every fear, every disappointment, every failure. What He has spoken over your life cannot be cancelled. Not by people. Not by pain. Not even by your past. His promises are still active. And Archangel Michael came to shake the dust off your faith and remind you that the future God planned for you is still alive. You don't need to earn this. You don't have to qualify for it. Grace doesn't wait for perfection. It moves in the middle of your weakness. That's what makes it so powerful. God is not asking you to be strong right now. He's asking you to believe. Even if your belief feels small. Even if you don't have the words to say. Even if all you can do is whisper His name through the tears. That's enough. Heaven hears it. Heaven moves through it. God does not despise your breaking, He steps into it. This next season will not look like the one you just came out of. What drained you before will not touch you again. What confused you before will be made clear. What felt delayed will come suddenly. There is acceleration in the Spirit right now. Things that took years will begin to shift in days. You will see turnarounds that can only be explained by God's hand. You will walk through doors that were locked for others, not because you are better, but because you are chosen for something specific and sacred. Comment 333 to declare your faith and agreement with what heaven is releasing over your life. Archangel Michael is not just a symbol. He is a warrior appointed to protect the people of God. And he is present now because something has been released over you. A covering. A breakthrough. A turning. When he says he couldn't stop crying, it's because he saw you finally stepping into the life God dreamed for you. And even angels are moved by the mercy of God, by the way He lifts the broken, by the way He loves without limits. What you're walking into is not just a season of answers. It's a season of divine fulfillment. Prophecies you forgot will begin to unfold. Prayers you let go of will come back in the form of miracles. The heavens are declaring that your waiting was not in vain. Your pain has purpose. Your future has power. Your journey is not over, it's just beginning in a new way. And the weight that tried to break you will now be the very thing that proves God's hand has always been on your life. His timing is perfect. And even though you wanted it sooner, even though you begged for it to come faster, the weight has strengthened your roots. What's growing now will last. You are about to be a witness of what happens when God steps into a life that the world gave up on. You will not only walk into favor, you will carry it. You will become a beacon of what His restoration looks like. You will smile again without pretending. You will breathe again without the weight pressing on your chest. You will rise from the ashes with grace on your shoulders and fire in your eyes. Because heaven has declared, it is time. He wept not just because of your sorrow, not only because of what you've survived, but because of the intensity of the calling over your life that even you have forgotten. He wept because the battles you faced were never just natural battles. They were spiritual ones, and you didn't even know how much was being fought for you while you were still trying to breathe through the nights you thought would never end. You are not broken beyond repair. You are not someone who missed their moment. You are not too late to receive what God has promised. In fact, everything is beginning to align right now in the Spirit. Even if it doesn't make sense in the natural, even if you don't see anything changing around you yet, something is being stirred deep within you. Something ancient. Something holy. Something that belongs to you. The tears Michael cried were sacred, because he saw you reclaiming your authority. He saw you rising not in your own strength, but with the hand of God lifting you. He saw you stepping into peace that no man gave and no situation can steal. Comment 555 if you feel the Holy Spirit pulling on your heart through these words right now. The enemy spent years trying to distract you from this. That's why everything around you tried to collapse. That's why people walked away. That's why you were misunderstood and misjudged. It was never about who didn't like you. It was never about your failures. It was always about what you carry. Your presence in the earth is dangerous to darkness. And Archangel Michael has been assigned to guard the gate of your purpose. What God placed inside you was never ordinary, and now that it's time to walk in it, all of heaven is drawing close to make sure you do not miss the moment. God's promises are not distant hopes floating somewhere above you. They are real, breathing, unstoppable realities that have been chasing you since the beginning. You are about to see them manifest. And not just in small ways. God is about to overwhelm you with clarity, with favor, with signs that confirm you are exactly where He wants you. You've waited long enough. You've cried long enough. And now, the season is shifting. There is a stillness in heaven because your name is being called. You've been seen. You've been heard. And now you are being released. There will be moments in the days ahead that won't make sense at first. People may leave. Things may close. Plans may change suddenly. But none of it is a mistake. Everything that happens from this point on is being ordered by God's hand to lead you straight into the promise. You don't need to worry about what you'll lose. God is the keeper of your heart, and what is meant for you cannot be taken. When He says it's yours, no power in heaven or hell can stop it. You don't need to understand everything. You only need to trust that what is happening is necessary. Not always comfortable, but necessary. Not always what you wanted, but always what you needed. Comment 12:12 if you are ready to walk into everything God has already prepared for you. There are blessings being released that are not just for your survival, but for your legacy. God is not interested in just fixing the past. He is building your future. He is laying foundations that will carry you for the rest of your life. What felt like a delay was actually divine preparation. You were being hidden, not because you weren't ready, but because what was ahead needed the strongest version of your spirit. Now that time has come. And Archangel Michael has stepped forward to make sure that everything in your way is removed. You will not carry the same pain into this new season. You will not walk forward with the same heaviness. God is lifting it off of you even now. In the spirit, the chains are breaking. The old weight is falling. The fear is losing its grip. God is breathing fresh wind into your soul. You are being anointed again. Heaven is touching your mind, your heart, your voice, your thoughts. Every part of you is being made new, and the restoration will be so deep, it will heal places you forgot were broken. What's coming is not just personal blessing. It's divine evidence. People will look at you and see what God can do with someone who didn't quit. They will see the fruit of mercy, the result of grace, the victory of a soul that kept believing even when it was broken. You will not be defined by your darkest days. You will be known by how you rose through them. And you didn't rise alone. God carried you, even when you had nothing left to give. You're going to love again, without fear. You're going to dream again, without doubt. You're going to breathe again, without heaviness. The same Spirit that raised Jesus from the grave is reviving everything in you that has felt dead. You are not at the end. You are standing at a new beginning, and it is drenched in God's love, surrounded by angelic protection, and filled with supernatural favor. Archangel Michael says the future he saw was so beautiful, it broke him. And he knew he had to tell you now. Because now is when the healing begins. Now is when the shift starts. Now is when your ears open to the truth that God has been waiting for you to hear. You are not average. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are chosen. You are appointed. You are anointed. And what comes next is going to be worth every tear, every loss, every lonely night. God is not asking you to know the path. He is asking you to walk it with Him. He has already gone ahead of you. He has already cleared the way. The doors will open. The right people will appear. The right provision will flow. The right opportunities will align. And it will all happen without force. It will happen because God declared it. Do not let fear return. Do not let doubt creep in again. Guard this word. Let it settle in your heart. Let it renew your spirit. You've carried so much, but now God is carrying you. You've given everything, but now He is giving back more than you lost. You've waited in the shadows, but now the light is breaking through. It was preparation. And even when it felt like nothing was happening, God was working. He was building something in you that could not be shaken, something eternal, something heaven could use. Archangel Michael stood in the silence, in the unseen moments of your struggle, guarding the very promise that the enemy tried so hard to keep hidden from you. But he couldn't stop it. And he never will. You may not have seen the battle, but make no mistake, there was one. The enemy tried to snatch your identity. He tried to distort your worth. He whispered lies about who you were and where you were going. He sent wave after wave of pressure hoping you'd break, hoping you'd give up, hoping you'd surrender your calling. But you didn't. Even when you felt numb. Even when you stopped talking about your dreams. Even when you questioned if God still heard you. You didn't let go. And because of that, heaven is releasing the very things that were kept in reserve just for you. The blessing is real. The breakthrough is near. And Archangel Michael has been given permission to reveal it now, because your spirit is finally ready to receive it. Comment 777 if you know the enemy cannot block what God has already written for you. You were not created to live in fear. You were not meant to live under the weight of shame. The mistakes you made did not cancel your destiny. The places where you fell did not remove God's favor. If anything, they prepared the way for you to fully understand mercy, to walk humbly in His power, to testify not out of pride, but out of truth. You are not being elevated for applause. You are being raised to carry the light of God to the dark places. And heaven has chosen you because you know what it means to be broken. You know what it means to lose everything and still get up. You know how it feels to stand with trembling hands and say, God, I'm still here. That cry reached heaven. That cry moved angels. That cry shifted the atmosphere. It wasn't loud, but it was pure. It came from a place only God could see, and He never turned away. His response was not silence. His response was movement. His angels went to war for you. Archangel Michael did not leave your side. Every delay you experienced, every detour, every disappointment was being used as protection. God did not reject your prayers. He hid you from what you couldn't see. He rerouted you away from harm. He preserved the promise even while your heart was breaking. There is a deep, holy work taking place in your life right now. You may not have all the answers, but peace is coming. You may still feel tired, but strength is rising. You may not know what tomorrow looks like, but you are already being held by the one who holds all of time. God never needed you to be perfect. He only needed you to stay willing. Willing to listen. Willing to trust. Willing to believe that He is still good, even when things didn't go the way you prayed. And because you stayed, He's about to show you why it had to happen the way it did. Comment 999 if you receive what heaven is saying to you right now. This is not just about a miracle. It's about your identity. The world tried to define you by what you went through. The enemy tried to label you by what you lost. But heaven calls you by name. You are known. You are seen. You are deeply loved. You were never forgotten in the crowd. God never turned his face away from you. Even when you turned from him, he stayed. His mercy did not dry up. His grace did not run out. And now he's calling you back into alignment with the life he always dreamed for you to live. There is power in your voice. There is anointing in your hands. There is healing in your story. The years the locusts have eaten are being restored. The time you thought was wasted is being redeemed. You are stepping into divine restoration, not just physical or financial, but spiritual, emotional, and generational. What ends with you will not pass down. What begins with you will be a legacy of light. Chains are being broken. Patterns are being undone. God is not just healing you, he's healing through you. You are not too late. You are not too far gone. You are not disqualified. God is the God of sudden turnarounds. And in the same way storms come quickly, so does his favor. It can change in a moment. And this is that moment. Archangel Michael saw the shift, and that's why he cried. He saw what was being released over your life. He saw the pain lifting. He saw the doors opening. He saw the fear losing its grip. He saw the light returning to your eyes. And it moved him. Because what he saw was holy. What he saw was divine restoration written by the hand of the Father. This is a time of resurrection. Not just of circumstances, but of you. The you that dreamed boldly. The you that believed God could use them. The you that felt joy freely. The you that trusted without hesitation. That version of you is not gone. It's been hidden, protected, guarded for such a time as this. And now, God is breathing on the ashes. He is calling you back into life, not survival. Back into purpose, not pressure. Back into joy, not just endurance. You are not being left behind. The fire did not destroy you. It refined you. And now, you are carrying something the world cannot take from you. A knowing. A peace. A strength born in the middle of weakness. A love that cannot be shaken. God is about to show the world what it looks like when he restores someone who the world tried to bury. And it will be undeniable. The glory will not be in what you did. It will be in what he did for you, through you, and despite what came against you. So keep your eyes on him. Stay close. Don't rush ahead. Let him lead. Let him guide every step. You don't need to chase anything. What's meant for you will find you. What's written for you will not miss you. What God started, he will finish. What heaven has declared, no man can revoke. He saw the full picture, the unseen battles, the quiet victories, the private tears, and the hidden strength you developed when no one was watching. He saw how the fire didn't destroy you, it purified you. And now, you are stepping into a space where what once tried to break you will now serve as proof of God's hand upon you. Every time you wanted to give up but chose to hold on just a little longer, you were moving closer to this moment. Every whisper of hope, even when you didn't feel it, carried weight in the spirit. Every broken hallelujah, every tired prayer, every tear that fell without words attached, all of it was counted by God. Heaven never missed a moment. You have been surrounded by angelic protection, even when you felt most alone. Michael himself stood guard when you didn't have the strength to stand. Not because you were strong, but because you were chosen. Not because you were perfect, but because you belonged to God. Comment 10:10 if you believe that angels have been watching over your journey every step of the way. The light you are about to walk into is going to feel unfamiliar at first because you've spent so long surviving in darkness. But that's okay. God's light doesn't come to blind you. It comes to guide you. His presence will gently lead you forward, step by step, into the restoration that was always meant for you. What was once heavy will feel lighter. What felt impossible will begin to move. What felt like confusion will start to make sense. This is what happens when divine timing meets divine favor. You don't have to force anything. You don't have to chase. You only need to walk with Him. And He is already walking beside you. There is a peace coming that will not depend on what is happening around you. It will not depend on how people treat you. It will not depend on whether or not things go as planned. This peace will come from knowing that God Himself has taken control of what you could no longer carry. You are not in this alone. You never were. There were battles you didn't see, but Michael saw them. There were victories you didn't recognize, but heaven celebrated them. And now, everything that has been brewing in the background is about to show itself in the natural. It may not come in the way you imagined. It may not follow the timeline you expected. But it will be perfect, because it will be God's. He never writes a story halfway. He doesn't start a work without completing it. And the work He began in you is still unfolding. What looked like a detour was actually divine protection. What felt like rejection was actually redirection. What looked like the end was actually a new beginning wrapped in disguise. And now, that beginning is emerging. Comment 15:15 if you are ready for God to complete what He started in you long ago. Archangel Michael saw your future, and he saw the beauty of the victory that came after the battle. He saw the healing that followed the heartbreak. He saw the strength that was born from the suffering. And it moved him deeply, because he knows what it took to get here. He knows what you had to survive. He knows how many times you cried yourself to sleep and still got up the next day. He knows how many times you walked into a room with a smile, even when your heart was heavy. He knows, and God knows too. This is not just another season. This is sacred. This is the shift you've been sensing in your spirit but couldn't explain. This is why everything felt so intense lately. This is why the warfare increased. This is why you felt overwhelmed out of nowhere. It was because the birthing moment had arrived. The breakthrough wasn't being delayed. It was being pushed into the open. The heaviness wasn't a sign to stop. It was a signal that you were getting close. And now, you are here. On the edge of a release so deep, so wide, so personal, that you will look back and realize that every step, every high, every low, was worth it. You may feel tired right now. That's okay. Heaven is not asking you to be strong. God is not asking you to pretend. All he wants is your yes. Just your willingness to let him continue what he's already started. Let him carry you when you can't carry yourself. Let him rebuild what was broken. Let him restore what was lost. You do not have to do this in your own power. You were never meant to. Grace will do what strength could not. Mercy will go where your efforts failed. Favor will open what no human hand could have opened. There are miracles that will find you even when you are not looking. There are answers that will come when you least expect them. God has already assigned help on your behalf. He has already spoken to the hearts of people you haven't even met yet. He has already orchestrated moments of provision that will come right on time. You will not miss what He has written for you. It will not pass you by. And when it arrives, it will carry the fragrance of heaven, undeniable, unmistakable, pure. Comment 1717 if you are receiving every word as confirmation for what your spirit has been crying out for. This next chapter will not be built on striving. It will be built on surrender. It will not be driven by fear. It will be led by peace. You will not have to beg for what is yours. You will walk into it with quiet confidence, knowing that the hand of God is with you. The very things you thought were working against you will be the very things God uses to elevate you. The enemy tried to destroy you in the same place where God is about to establish you. The same ground where you were broken will become the ground where you stand in strength. Michael wept because what he saw was holy. He saw a future where you no longer walk in fear. He saw a life where you walk in the fullness of who God created you to be. He saw joy that cannot be taken, purpose that cannot be denied, and favor that cannot be explained. That is what's coming. That is what's already beginning. So breathe. Let the fear fall away. Let the pressure lift. Let the peace of God wash over your heart like rain. You don't need to chase anything. The goodness of God is chasing you. You don't need to fix everything. God is already making it right. And you don't need to be afraid of what's next. Because heaven has already gone before you. You are walking into a future that has been guarded by angels, prepared by God, and watered by your own tears. He cried because he saw what God was about to give back, and it was more than double. He saw how the ashes of your pain would become the foundation of something sacred. He saw how your name was still being whispered in heaven even when you were being forgotten by people. He saw how the plans of the enemy were being shattered one by one, because you dared to keep going even when you didn't feel strong enough to stand. You were always meant to reach this point. Not by accident. Not by luck. But by design. You were chosen before you were born, and heaven has been writing your story through the ink of grace. Archangel Michael was present when it felt like your prayers were bouncing off the walls. He was watching as you asked God why nothing was changing, as you reached for answers in the silence. What he couldn't tell you then, he's allowed to tell you now. The silence wasn't rejection. It was strategy. God was hiding you, shaping you, preserving you for the hour where your breakthrough would carry eternal weight. Comment Amen if you feel this word reaching into your deepest place and settling your spirit. You don't have to strive for favor. You already have it. You don't need to prove anything to be worthy of the blessing that's coming. It's yours because your Father said so. When God calls you His, He never changes His mind. The detours didn't cancel the calling. The heartbreak didn't change the assignment. The confusion didn't remove the covering. The very pain you thought disqualified you is the pain God is now using as evidence that you are ready for more. More of His glory. More of His presence. More of His promises fulfilled in real time. There is a sacred stillness before sudden miracles. That's where you are right now. You are standing at the edge of things you once thought were too far gone. And even though it still feels unclear, you're about to see why the waiting had to happen. Heaven had to prepare the path, not just open the door. God is too good to lead you into something that isn't ready to carry the weight of your healing, your blessing, your calling. You are not late. You are right on time. Comment 11:11 if you're standing in agreement that the door God opens for you will not be temporary, it will be secure, lasting, and anointed. There are seasons in your life when God works in silence, and then there are seasons when He moves in demonstration. You are moving from hidden preparation into divine demonstration. It will be clear that the hand of God is on your life. Those around you will begin to notice a shift they cannot explain. You will carry a peace they cannot understand. And it will not come from effort. It will come from alignment. As your spirit agrees with what heaven is releasing, the things that once resisted you will begin to fall into place. This is the season where even your distractions are being removed. The things that once occupied your time, your heart, your energy, God is pulling them back so He can focus you forward. You may feel the discomfort of people walking away. You may feel the sting of old habits being shaken loose. But don't mistake this for loss. It is divine pruning. God only prunes what He is preparing to grow. You are not being stripped. You are being refined. And what remains will carry fruit that lasts. Archangel Michael wept because what he saw wasn't just breakthrough, it was beauty coming from places you thought were ruined. He saw relationships being restored that you gave up praying for. He saw strength returning to your body, to your soul, to your hope. He saw provision arriving from places you didn't expect, at moments you didn't plan. He saw you walking into rooms you once felt unqualified to enter, not with pride, but with the humility of someone who knows it was God and only God who made a way. There are things you've been trying to carry on your own that were never meant to stay on your shoulders. The burdens, the expectations, the anxiety of trying to hold everything together, God is breaking that weight off of you now. You are not called to hold it all. You are called to walk with the one who holds you. The pressure to be perfect, to always know the next step, to always be okay, it's lifting. Heaven is replacing it with rest, with joy, with a fresh breath of peace that comes not from understanding but from trusting. Comment 222 if you receive that peace right now, even in the middle of what still feels unfinished. This next part of your journey will not look like the last. God is doing a new thing, and it's already begun. Do not compare what is coming to what has been. He's not repeating old patterns. He's writing a new chapter. The people, the places, the timing, the way, it's all different because the version of you walking into it is different. You're stronger now. Wiser now. More sensitive to His voice. more aware of what matters. You're not going back to what hurt you. You're going forward into what heals you. Archangel Michael saw the chains falling off your mind. He saw clarity returning. He saw joy returning. He saw you lifting your head again, not because everything around you changed overnight, but because everything inside you began to align with the truth. The truth that you are not alone. The truth that your steps are ordered. The truth that you are fiercely loved by a God who does not make mistakes. That truth is where your freedom begins. That truth is what your future stands on. There are doors that will open without you knocking. There are answers that will find you while you rest. There are victories being written even now, victories that will carry your name, victories heaven already celebrated. The tears you cried didn't just fall to the floor, they fell into the hands of the one who turns mourning into dancing. Every tear carried a promise. Every moment of despair was planted in God's soil, and now, the harvest is near. You're not stepping into ordinary days. You're stepping into supernatural alignment. The kind where things start coming together without force. The kind where even closed doors are confirmations, not rejections. The kind where God's timing becomes your greatest comfort, not your greatest frustration. Archangel Michael wept because he knew how hard it was for you to hold on. But he also saw what happens next. And what happens next is going to be more than you prayed for. So lift your head. Let the fear fall off. Let the past stay where it is. Your future is rising, and it's wrapped in grace. Heaven is behind you. Angels are beside you. And God Himself is going before you. Every delay, every detour, every moment of deep frustration was not in vain. Archangel Michael stood over your life and saw the exact turning point, the shift you are standing in now. And he could no longer hold back the tears because he saw how faithful you remained when nothing made sense, and how God is about to answer you in ways that silence every doubt you ever carried. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not being overlooked. You are being prepared for a glory that carries eternal purpose. The fire you passed through didn't leave you empty. It left you marked. Marked by the hand of God. Marked by the kind of grace that makes no sense to the world but speaks volumes in heaven. Michael wept because he saw the weight of your journey and the glory of your future colliding. And when the weight and the glory meet, there is breakthrough. Not temporary. Not surface level. But deep, lasting, holy breakthrough that changes not just your situation, but you. Comment 333 to declare your faith in the breakthrough that is already on its way to you. You've cried silently in places no one knew about. You've smiled through pain just to keep going. You've shown up for others while wondering who would be there for you. But God saw it all. Not one moment was missed. Not one cry went unheard. He was storing every tear, every whisper of hope, every sigh of weariness, because He knew this moment was coming. The moment where He would begin to unfold the fullness of what He promised you long ago. You haven't been forgotten. You've been hidden, preserved for the time when your heart was ready to receive without fear and your hands were steady enough to carry the blessing without dropping it. This is not about small improvements. This is about complete restoration. The kind of restoration that only comes from God. Not a rebuilding of what was, but a rebirthing of what should have always been. You are not returning to what you had. You are stepping into what was always yours but had to wait for your spirit to mature, for your faith to be tested, and for the enemy's assignment to be fully cancelled. Heaven has declared it over you now. The delay is over. The release has begun. Comment 1212 if you believe that everything meant for you is now making its way to your life. Archangel Michael is not weeping for sadness. His tears carry a reverence for what God is doing in your life. He's seen the scroll of your future. He's seen the moments that are about to collide with destiny. He's seen the people God is preparing to align with your purpose. He's seen the doors being carved out just for you. And he knows this season will not be like the ones before. You are not entering another cycle. You are stepping into a divine appointment. The kind that only heaven could orchestrate. The kind that reminds the world that your life is under the protection and power of the Almighty. Let your heart be still. Let the striving cease. Let the worrying fall away. You have nothing to prove and no need to explain yourself to anyone. God is about to prove why He kept His hand on your life, even when others questioned your worth. He is about to bring forth answers that only His love could give. There will be no confusion. No striving. No uncertainty. Just peace, clarity, and undeniable favor. Not because you earned it, but because He is faithful. He is healing every place that felt abandoned. He is restoring every corner of your soul that silently shattered. He is rebuilding your confidence, not the kind rooted in pride, but the kind anchored in His presence. You will walk differently. Speak differently. Believe differently. Because God is showing you who you really are, not what life labeled you, not what pain convinced you to accept, but who He created you to be from the very beginning. Comment 555 if you are ready to become everything God says you already are. Every spiritual battle you faced was not random. You carry something valuable. Something powerful. Something eternal. That's why the opposition came the way it did. That's why you felt pressure you couldn't explain. That's why you faced so much confusion and fear. But now, all of heaven is echoing the same message: it is finished. The pain that tried to define you will no longer lead your story. The fear that tried to trap you will no longer control your future. The doubt that whispered in your ear will no longer drown out the voice of God. This is the hour of clarity. You will see the path clearly. You will hear the next step with precision. You will move without fear. Because the weight that tried to bury you has only revealed the depth of your strength in Him. You did not survive just to survive. You survived to thrive in the fullness of God's promise. You are rising. Not just emotionally, not just spiritually, but in every part of your life. Heaven is lifting you. Angels are clearing the path. And God is breathing fresh life into every dry place in your heart. What Archangel Michael saw in your future was a season of overflowing peace, multiplied favor, and divine wisdom. He saw restoration sweeping through your family. He saw healing rising in your body. He saw provision covering every lack. He saw old wounds closing. He saw new doors opening. He saw you finally walking free from the past that tried to cling so tightly. And what he saw overwhelmed him because it wasn't just a better life, it was God's presence resting on you so fully that it could not be denied. There will be no more pretending to be okay. You will be okay. There will be no more hiding your pain behind strength. You will be whole. There will be no more walking alone. You will be covered. The kind of peace you are about to walk in is the peace that can only come from a Father who knows exactly what you need and provides it with perfect timing.